Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar, Take C.CURE 9000 on the Go. My name is Carol Vidaro, and I'm the Senior Marketing Communications Manager for Software House. Today, our panelists will take you through our portfolio of mobile apps, including C.CURE Go, C.CURE Go Reader, multi-factor authentication using Duo Mobile, and C.CURE Visit Verified Identity using Civic. Our today's panelists are Rick Foke, Director of Product Management for Software House, and Ashley Tusignac, Senior Product Manager for C.CURE 9000. We're also joined by Christina Jin, Regional Sales Manager for Software House. I'm just going to go through a couple of housekeeping items before we begin. The phones are muted to prevent any background noise. The webinar is being recorded, and a link will be sent to all attendees along with the PowerPoint. And we're going to be taking questions throughout the webinar at the end of each section, so please feel free to add a question in the question box to the right of your screen. So now I'm going to turn the webinar over to Christina, who's going to say a few words.
Thank you, Carol. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Christina Jin with Software House. Just wanted to say a few words and thank everyone for taking the time to join the webinar. Hope you're all staying safe during these times. And I will now turn it over to Rick and Ashley to go through C.CURE on the Go.
Great, thanks, Christina and Carol. And again, this is Rick Foke from Software House. I'm here with Ashley. And it became apparent to us that C.CURE has a lot of great features. The mobile aspects weren't getting enough press, if you will. You know, over the last few years, we've developed a handful of nice mobile apps that are worthy of their own separate webinar. And that's why we're bringing you this webinar today. So in a nutshell, let's take a look at them. Basically, our design philosophy here is to make a separate app for a separate type of user or use case, because the needs vary, so much between these different use cases. So for example, if you're a full-fledged C.CURE operator, you need that C.CURE power with you as you move around, and you want that full feature set on your mobile device, okay? But for a mobile guard, if you want to just quickly go out and check cards and get people through temporary doors, you need a separate device with a read head and separate features there. Okay, for card holders, they don't need C.CURE features, like an operator. They just want to get through a door quickly with second factor of authentication. And then finally, visitors have a whole separate set of use cases, okay, where they want to be able to quickly check in and protect their personal ID and other information. So you'll see a few different apps as we go through here, and each with their own use case. And I guess I do want to also point out that as product managers, this is the fun part of the job, doing presentations, talking to customers. Half our job is listening. So Ashley and I are more than welcome to get your feedback. If you have some nice ideas on different apps or how to improve these apps, please get back to us, and we'll gladly take a look and get those into our product roadmap. Okay, let's move on. Let's take a look at the first app I'm going to go through here, called C.CURE Go. Okay, this was the first app. This was our first one for C.CURE. This was launched in about 2014 with Rev 2.4 of C.CURE. And again, we wanted to tailor these for the specific use cases that had the most need for the app. So C.CURE Go is meant for that mobile administrator of C.CURE that just can't be at the workstation. He or she is roving around, but still needs to get in there and do things. And it's designed for the technician, okay? Previous to C.CURE Go, it usually took 2 technicians to check out a door to get a commission, okay? One person at the door, flipping switches, swiping cards, and one person at the C.CURE workstation, back at the main, control center, looking at the status changes and issuing commands to unlock the door, okay? It's a 2-person job. Well, you don't need 2 people in today's day and age to check out a door, right? And that's where C.CURE Go gives you that great power to do that by yourself. Okay, so some of the the housekeeping items here. It's an app that's developed both for phone size screens and the larger tablet screen aspect ratios. It is developed for both the iOS and the Android operating systems. So you'll see it on the iTunes App Store and on Google Play. I am happy to report that on Google Play, it has gotten a review of 4.4 out of 5 so far. So looks like people are, liking it. Okay, so I want to continue to get that good rating up. When you get a chance, download it and give us your honest opinion, right? But the main thing it does is it communicates back to C.CURE over whatever means you have from your device to the IIS server, okay, which can also run on the C.CURE server, okay, or it can run on a separate instance, on a separate box, right? Doesn't really matter as long as you can get back to it over Wi-Fi or over a data plan of some sort. A lot of customers use a VPN when they, get back to this server, okay? But yeah, it's very standard, runs on standard IIS, okay, using Victor Web Services, for the communications. And here's a nice point of data here. There's no additional cost for C.CURE Go, right? It basically consumes a client license on your standard C.CURE license, right? So if you have 50 clients licensed, that 50 will consist of your regular, admin and workstation and monitoring workstations and your C.CURE Go's. Okay, so if you have 50, that means you can have 50 concurrent users from all 3 of those different directions. Okay, and also there's no separate operator database to maintain. The operators in C.CURE carry over into the C.CURE Go world. So if you're only allowed to see, half the doors, guess what? You log on to C.CURE Go and just see half the doors, right? Your privileges follow you as you log on, to the mobile app. Okay, and everything is logged as well in the audit log of C.CURE. If you unlock a door on C.CURE Admin, C.CURE Monitoring Station, or C.CURE Go, it all gets logged in the audit. So what can you do with C.CURE Go? Again, our target was the day-to-day operator, right? So the main thing operators do is manage personnel, right? You can create new personnel records, update existing ones, search your whole database easily to bring up a certain record. You can add, remove clearances, disable cards or personnel records, okay, as needed. You can also monitor system activity. Okay, the events come up, you can unlock doors. You can do some monitoring on specific items in the system, okay? Not just a whole, activity log, streaming in at you, because that'd be kind of useless. And you do have full access to the journal and the audit databases, okay? Again, you can look at the whole thing, or you can, do a nice quick search for a specific date range and like for the journal, for a specific type of journal activity, like just give me all the invalids, okay, or just give me all the comm failures, that sort of thing. You can select what type of activity you want to search on. So those are the top use cases that we had in mind when we designed C.CURE Go. So let's start with personnel. Okay, here you see some sample screens, right? This happens to be with the tablet form factor. So you have the little menu on the left here. I clicked personnel and I got a few different choices, right? I can show all the personnel, which don't worry, we're not going to give you all, 10,000 records at once. We do a page by page, sort of deal. What's better is to show selected, okay? If you know what person you want to bring up, just, go to the selection criteria and type it, in this case, John Smith, and hit the search button. Okay, and then that personal record gets brought up, and from there you can, just kind of take a look at things, at the main properties, credentials, clearances for that person, and then you can hit this little button over here and bring up the context menu for all the commands and actions you can do on that object, right? So yeah, it's a very, it's a little different than the regular workstations, but it's intuitive. It's meant for the mobile devices. So here I'm going back into manage personnel, this time on a phone. Okay, I can show a person, right? I get to that person. This is Paul Chasen here, and it lists out the different properties for that person. Actually, we just changed it so that it's grouped the same way as you see on the tabs in your personnel screen within the regular C.CURE. Okay, it's a little nicer even than it shows here. But you still have the properties, credentials, and clearances available to you through the app. So when I hit the context menu button up here, now I can see all the different things I can do with that personnel record. Of course, I have to have privileges to do all these things, right? My operator has to have the right power, if you will, to do these, but I can do editing, okay? I can monitor, which we'll go through later on, okay? Set the person's PIN. I can actually, look at the primary portrait and take a new picture and load up a new portrait for that person. I had the previous doors history, which is really cool. Give me a quick history of that person, for the last month. Okay, so it really does more or less mimic what you can do in the full admin station, right? I hit primary portrait, and then it comes up, and there's the portrait. I can then go in and hit the portrait button and put a new one in there, for example. Okay, so yeah, personal management is really good. It's very intuitive here. And then if I want to go into the history of where that person went, or history, by door or whatever, just go into the activity and audit. Okay, so in the journal list, okay, it comes up in a pagination form here. And again, you can search, hit the search button and go through and select your time frame and your message type, and you can filter it down that way. Same with the audit as well. You can squeeze it down to a certain time frame for the auditing and a certain type of action. Okay. Now this is one of my favorite features in C.CURE. In fact, it's very popular on the regular monitoring and the admin stations. This is called, it's pretty simply named, it's called Monitor. But it basically lets you do an ad hoc, live monitoring screen focused in on any, one object in your system. Okay, so you can see what I'm calling the Site Explorer. Okay, and this is basically your hardware tree, if you will. Okay, if you want to equate it to something that's on the regular workstation. So you have a hardware tree, okay, I can go to doors and I can pull up my door list. I can filter it if I want to, by name or something else. But so I can just pick a door here and click on the context menu, and you can see the different things I can do. And there's your find in journal, find in audits. I can issue a manual command, lock, unlock, or momentary. And I can also monitor. What that does is it brings up a separate screen here of a little activity monitor of just that door's activity. Okay, if you pick a door, that will include the door and the input point and the reader and all the things that make up that door. So I think this is the great tool for the technician to commission a door, walk around with his or her C.CURE Go and go through and commission it yourself. You don't have to rely on somebody back at the main operator station to verify things as they happen, because You can verify them yourself. That is C.CURE happening right before your eyes here in the field. Okay. Yeah, momentary unlock. Again, that's great for troubleshooting. Okay, make sure the thing works and it's wired up right, and it does the momentary unlock as it's supposed to. Okay. And again, all these commands that you do from the C.CURE Go interface are, recorded in the, the audit and or journal as well. And in this case, it would be audit because it'd be an operator command. But the card swipe should do would be in the journal. Okay, so again, this monitor tool is great. I just, think it's, it's so useful for, well, for technicians, for commissioning, even, for operators just to do it on a person, for example. I'm going to put that person on, secret notice, if you will. Just pull up a separate monitor list and, have a look. It just makes it that much easier. Okay. And there's more. The last thing I wanted to highlight on the C.CURE Go side of things is the Video Explorer. And this was added, I believe, in Rev 2.5 of C.CURE after the initial launch of C.CURE Go. And this is an easy way to view live and recorded video from any Video Edge NVR that you happen to have on your system. Okay. You can see the different options you have. You can show, all your cameras, all your servers, show selected, okay, by doing a little search. And you can show recordings as well. And these are the recordings that might have been made because of the event linkage from C.CURE. Door forced alarm, for example, would cause a video clip to be stored. That clip then is available through the C.CURE Go interface. Okay, as you can see, I've selected a camera here. It comes up in the standard interface. Okay, it just shows you the list of cameras. In the meantime, then you pick one and have it come up there for the live video. Then for recorded video, it shows you the list, okay, of all the clips that are in that C.CURE database, and you can, go through and take a look. Okay, and you'll see in the journal here, there's a little video icon. Okay, so that event was linked to video. I'm sorry, it's not the journal, it's the event itself. And that will show you that it has a video clip that's available for viewing there. So all in all, I'll tell you, C.CURE Go is a great app that, helps you to extend the power of C.CURE. And, if you haven't tried it out yet, go to the App Store, Google Play or the iOS, get it going on your device and have a look. Oh, and it also, offers encryption, TLS, back to your server. Okay, so if you don't have a VPN, you still have a good authentication mechanism from your device back to your C.CURE IS instance. So Carol, I guess I'll pause here and take some questions if there's any that have come in so far.
There's quite a few, actually. Is it possible to connect multiple servers?
Multiple servers to the same C.CURE Go. You do have to log on to each server separately. So you'd have to log off one to log on to the other one. But you could log on to a MAS if you have a MAS SaaS enterprise system and view personnel that way.
Assuming you have full admin rights, can you perform an all-door lock from the app?
An all-door lock. I would probably do that with an event that's been pre-programmed just to maintain some order. But yeah, the events are able to be invoked, from the C.CURE Go app as well.
This is regarding C.CURE Go authentication. I'm assuming that AD means Active Directory. If using AD single sign-on for thick client, how is authentication handled on Go for iOS and Android?
Yeah, it's the same user name and password that gets, forwarded on, so there's no separate logons needed. You do have to put in the server name and or IP address the first time, and that's, just the first time you do it. But yeah,
And
we use the same AD.
And the second part of the question is, do they need to log in with Windows credentials, or do they need a non-Windows login created for Go login?
No, it's the same Windows login. It's the same instance of the operator in C.CURE, the same privileges, the same domain. It's just using that on a different platform.
Regarding personnel photo, can you take new photo using phone or tablet camera and save it for printing?
Yeah, you can use your phone's camera, sure. I mean, cameras these days are, pretty high res, right? Take the picture there and load it up as the primary portrait.
Is there a place to securely store different client sites for technicians?
Securely store different, that's a good one. I think we'll have to take that one offline. I think they mean to not have to log into each server separately from scratch each time, right? They want sort of like a preloaded profile to pull up for, yeah, if you have 5 different customers, you want to go around to each of the 5 and not have to remember all the passwords. Okay. That one, for further review.
There are a lot of questions, so I'm going to take 2 more and then we have to move on. And but just to let everybody know that we'll compile the FAQs and send that out to everybody. Is ExactVision available for integration with this?
I knew that would come up. Unfortunately, right now, the answer is no. It's only the Video Edge NVRs, but we will need to take that under advisement for the roadmap. There's a lot of Exact systems out there that could benefit from this.
And what is the process for connecting the app to the server?
Well, first step is to download the app, get it installed on your device, of course. And then when you launch the app, it's just a simple login screen with 3 different data fields, the server name or IP, the username, including the domain, and then the password. Oh, and there's a 4th option to encrypt or not, which I would definitely recommend to encrypt, that connection.
Okay, I think that we should.
That's logged in the audit. So, okay, I think that's it for questions. I guess I'll have some homework after the webinar here.
Lots of homework.
Okay, well, good. Let's move on. Next up is a related app. This one's called C.CURE Go Reader. And as we mentioned in the intro, this one's meant for, basically it's meant for validating cards remotely. Okay, think of it as a portable access control reader. So it's not just a workstation or a user interface, it's a reader. Okay, it's almost like an iStar door. Okay, that you can take around with you on your device. So there's a lot of different use cases here for this type of device, right? You can keep track of personnel and emergencies, mustering. You can just validate cards as needed. What I do show here on the right is the fact that the current solution is a 2-piece solution where you have an Android device for your interface and you have a separate read head that talks to the Android device over a little Bluetooth pairing. Okay. We are working on some new hardware, which I'll show you later on. But right now, it's a 2-piece device. You have to buy the read head as a separate part number, then you'd get the license for the app as a separate part number. Okay. But yeah, we've found that Go Reader is great for temporary things, whether they be offsite events, corporate events where you want to make sure just employees are getting in, for example. Construction sites where you need temporary validation of credentials, roll calls. You have emergency happen, you want to muster people out in the parking lot, and even like roaming checkpoints. You know, you want to just have a guard walk around and just do spot checks, maybe of the critical labs, for example, or in the higher security areas. We've also seen a big increase in the need for transportation shuttle control, where you want to, let's say there's a college or university with a shuttle bus system. They want to make sure just the university students are riding it. So they have each student, badged into the bus, and then, get on the bus. And if you're not coming up as a valid student, then sorry, you can't get on. And that's actually where the two-piece hardware came from. So you'd have the read head at one place, and then the device is more on the driver's side, so you can see, the results. So yeah, it's a great extension to your C.CURE system, to make it that much more usable. So here's the basic feature. It's basically a swipe and show, right? You see the portrait, you see the big green or red, results bar. You also see down here, there's a green skinny bar. That means I'm online to my C.CURE server. And it doesn't just validate the card, it actually validates against whatever clearance you made this device part of. So you can, do it against schedules, against holidays. Of course, it does the credential as well for expiration, lost, stolen, all that stuff comes up as being a rejected reason. So yeah, it's a very quick, intuitive interface here. However, we have not been sitting on our laurels. We have been expanding this thing over the last few revs, and here's just a quick list of some of the more recent features. We have a field trip feature where it's basically a check-in, check-out situation. You can check into the bus. Let's say you got 20 people, and then you can put it into checkout mode and hopefully you get 20 people badging out. And if you don't, it'll show you who's missing, right? And add extra data fields to your display, customize which data fields you want to have on there. You can even have it impersonate an existing iStar's clearances. So today I'm going to use this at iStar door 3 because that's, not working right. Or tomorrow I'm going to, use it for a training room with a whole different set of clearances. Okay, we have timed anti-passback, so somebody can't use it and then pass their card to their buddy and have him get in as well to the company party. And we can even do, lookups for the GIS location for each card swipe now. We actually, if you choose, it's a setting, we'll track and store the GIS location of each of your card swipes. Okay, and it is managed through the standard C.CURE admin. Okay, we kind of decided to have some of the admin done centrally for security reasons. So here you see a standard screen for the C.CURE Go Reader device within the C.CURE interface, right? So you see here, you can select your 3 data fields. Here's where you can select if you're going to do a door impersonation, to a different iStar door. Here's your random screening setting if you want to have, 2% of your card swipes rejected just for extra, screening for some reason. The anti-passback settings are here. So this is all managed in C.CURE, then pushed out to the device. So the guard doesn't have to, manage all these little intricate settings, basically. So here's a little close-up of that GIS feature I was talking about, right? Each card swipe gets a latitude and longitude stored in the C.CURE database. And, back at the monitoring station, you can select 1, 10, 100 different card swipes from the journal and map them all on a map. So you can, at a glance, see where the card swipe activity is happening. Right, very cool. So here's some important details on the Go Reader. I mentioned that green bar at the bottom here. So this will tell you at a glance whether the device is online to your C.CURE server or not. If it is, all your card swipes get flung up to C.CURE in real time, and you'll see them on the monitoring station. Okay, and C.CURE can send back changes to personnel records in real time as well. What happens if you're offline? Let's say you wander away too far from the Wi-Fi signal, or you just always have, no access until you dock it back at the base station, right? Well, don't worry, we do support now up to 250,000 cardholder records cached locally on the device, right? That's more than most every customer is going to need, okay? And we store 10,000 transactions buffered in that database on that same device as well. So it can operate in a nice standalone mode for a long time. Now, to get around the fact that, if you have a large database and you have nice high-res portraits, might take a long time to download, you can select what's called portrait on demand. So we don't download the portraits, we just send down a portrait as needed, or we just can send down the low-res thumbnails, okay? We also increased it to 100 devices per server recently. I think that's with 2.7. We're up to Android 7 for the minimum OS support. And this one is licensed, okay? You need to order a CC9-Go RDR for each device you want to have activated on your system, right? And we do have a lot of language support. We have the ones listed out there, so you can, pick any one of those as you boot it up, and it'll get in that language. Okay, so that's the Go Reader. Again, I encourage you to try it out. It's a great addition to your C.CURE system. I mentioned we have some new hardware coming out. Okay, the two-piece unit, again, works out great for transportation, but in other cases, people have told us, hey, look, give me a single thing to hold. I don't want to have these two pieces, these two things to charge. So we have a new hardware platform coming out within the next 2 months. We're in the final testing stages now, and that will give you a nice single Android 7 small, device, handheld. This one has even a barcode scanner in it, so they can look at using it for visitor badges, for scanning your barcodes. And it also has a docking station, so you can use it in offline mode. Then when you punch it back into your docking station, all the events get uploaded back into C.CURE. Okay, so we have 2 models coming out based on read head. One is, mainly for the, the MyFair EV1, EV2 types of cards. And the second will have the HID read head in there for the procs and the I-class types of cards. So yeah, a little sneak peek here. Again, the next 2 months, I'm hoping even sooner, you should be seeing that getting launched. And I'll pause here for a few questions. I know we're running a little bit late, but now we're okay. So I got a few questions, Carol?
Sure. When will the C.CURE Go Reader driver for version 2.80 SP1 be available?
I knew somebody's going to ask that. Yeah, we have had a little delay in the 2.8 version of it. It turns out we're waiting for 2.8 SP2, to make it compatible, and that is out.
It's tracking next week.
Next week, you heard it here.
Yep.
Again, sorry for the delay. We try to get these things out at the same time as the core C.CURE revs come out.
Is a license required for the C.CURE Go Reader or the Go app?
The license is required for the C.CURE Go Reader. Okay, so when you first boot it up, it'll check its license count at the main server. Okay, and it's a concurrent license. If you can have 10 defined in your system, but if only 5 are used at any one time, all you have to do is buy 5 of the licenses.
Is it possible to put 2 readers in and out?
Good question. No, I believe you do that with that in-out field trip feature. That would give you the the directional, and has a little arrow on it to tell you whether you're going in or going out. And then there's a validate feature as well, so you can get 20 people on the bus, then you can put it in a validate, make sure there's still 20 and then put it into exit mode, and then get the 20 people to exit out.
Can we use the camera on the device to take pictures and send to C.CURE?
That is a great roadmap item. It's on our list. It's on the backlog list. But yeah, that'd be great. You know, to in fact have this thing become more of a true guard tour device, where you could use this to monitor the guard tour, and if something happens, take a picture and link it to that guard tour station. Right? That's been some feedback already for the unit.
All right, we're going to take one more question. For the Go Reader, is there support for iOS in the roadmap?
Not on the committed roadmap, let's put it that way. Unlike C.CURE Go, you know, the Go Reader is more of a dedicated device, and you know, there's not that many Apple devices that have HID read heads in them for one point. So at this point, we're sticking with Android, you know, for now. So, okay, well, good. These are great questions. I'm sure there's more that we'll have to answer afterwards. So let's shift gears. I am going to hand it over to Ashley, who's going to take us through the third app we want to highlight today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Rick. So today, you know, let's switch over to our two-factor authentication, and that's our partnership with Duo Security. So if you jump into the next slide. So, you know, really what we're trying to solve is, what if you want to increase authentication at the door? What are your options today? And what we looked at were that you could have card and PIN, but then you have the headache of PIN management, or you could have card and face, but you know, you'll have to re-enroll your users, and card and fingerprint. All of these items take significant costs to your customer. So you're going to have wiring costs, new hardware costs, management costs. So what we've done, if you go to the next slide, we have a short little video of our partnership with Duo. What if we could maintain our existing card technology and add the mobile authentication? So Rick, if you press the little triangle in the bottom left-hand corner, it will play. So here our users go into the door, and he gets a push notification to his cell phone, and he's able to authenticate that he's using the correct credential to get through the door. So if you want to move along to the next slide. So we found this partnership to be a really flexible layer of security. It's a fraction of the cost compared to new hardware or wiring installations, and you don't have the headache of having to upgrade your credentials. So the beauty of this is that you can really step up your security at certain doors, meaning you could pick perimeter doors after hours, you could have lab doors. It can all be based on a schedule. How we offer it is in a bucket. So you decide what doors it's going to be used for. You own those licenses, and you can move those licenses around depending on the solution you're looking for. Another great thing that it helps with is to mitigate lost or stolen cards before they're found or reported, and can be deactivated in C.CURE. So that's definitely helpful. And then we were able to incorporate this to all of our iStore controllers. So we updated the firmware even on our legacy controllers. So you'll see it on the Pros and the EXs, and obviously the Edge and Ultras support this as well. And what we found is that a lot of our customers are using Duo accounts for other parts of their businesses. So this is just an easy addition, like I said, just a licensing add-on on the C.CURE side to be able to offer this solution. We'll take a quick look at the system diagram here just so that you can visualize how this is working. So as you saw in the video, the card holder is going to walk up to a reader. They're going to present their standard credential. It's going to push a notification to the card holder from the cloud. They'll get that to their phone. What's going to show up on their phone is a little information. So what the location of the door is that they're trying to access, and a green button to approve or a red button to deny. And this push notification comes in within a couple of seconds. You saw how it worked on the video there. So it's a really seamless multi-factor authentication solution, and it's designed to work on your standard clearance policy. So that is just a brief overview of Duo. We did add this for both version 2.8.0 last summer that was launched, but we also added it for 2.7 Service Pack 5. So we have a couple of revs available today. Carol, I'll pause here to see if we have any questions about Duo specifically.
Sure. Can we use Duo with the Aperio readers and locks?
Yeah, you should be able to, any door it's configured at, you should be able to add this license option.
If you are offline from the Duo server, you won't get into a door. How do customers approach this?
I'm sorry, what were you saying, Rick?
Oh, go ahead. You can go on to the next question. Yeah, do you want to take that one or want me to?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's a great question for offline operation. Let's say you are offline from the cloud and the Duo service can't be reached. Well, you have an option. You can choose to not let people in, or you can choose to revert to the card only, traditional way of doing it. You can do that through an event. You can also, schedule it so that, during the weekday you can have card only, but the weekends can be, the card plus mobile push. Yeah, it's up to you, but it is a cloud service. So if it's offline, it's offline. You have to, choose what your, fallback mode would be.
Does this app work with proxy servers on the server side?
I believe it does. We'll need to validate that, but there are a few different ways to get it set up. Yeah, the actual server settings for Duo are held in that new encrypted data vault of C.CURE. I don't know if you've seen when you install 2.8, it asks you for a passphrase to use to store your encrypted information. That's one of the pieces that gets stored. I believe there's some proxy settings in there you can use.
And one last question, can this work with PIV class requirements?
Good question. I believe it can. I don't think we've actually tested a high assurance read and then want to add Duo on top of it. I suppose it would work. I don't see why it wouldn't. Just add one more factor. So you have your card plus your certificate plus maybe your bio, and then your mobile push. I guess it'd be worth testing on a future testing set here, but at this point I don't see why I wouldn't.
That's it for questions.
All right, that's great. Let's move to our fourth mobile option here. So we've partnered with a company called Civic for our C.CURE visitor management system. So Rick, you can jump into our first slide. We did launch this earlier in March, so some of you might have joined our webinars on this, but this is really an option for us to pre-verify visitors or contract workers before they come on site. So it's a real self-service approach. It fits nicely with the current C.CURE visitor management offering. So what would happen is the host would send an email to the visitor coming on site, and it will have a short list of instructions of how they would be able to come on site and pre-verify their documentation or email through the Civic app. What's great about this is that it's taking away the need for somebody to man a visitor management post and actually physically scan somebody's ID card, whether it be license or passport on site. And it also protects both the company and the user for protecting their personally identifiable information or PII data. So what you might need to know is that I'm Ashley Tusignot and I'm coming on site, but you might not need to know my home address or other items that would be listed on my documentation. So in this case, we're never actually passing over that information. It's validating through my cell phone, through the Civic app, and what's stored in my encrypted mobile wallet. Great also for GDPR laws, because nothing's being stored on the C.CURE server. Okay, we can move on to the next slide, Rick. So it's a really simple process of how it works. So similar to how you would currently use C.CURE VMS today, the host would send out a invite to their visitor, and they would designate at that time if it's going to be a Civic visit or if it's just going to be a standard VMS visit. The visitor is going to receive an email with the short list of instructions of how to set up the Civic app on their phone and how to pre-verify their identity. And then when they come on site, they'd use the standard C.CURE kiosk to log in, and they would select the Civic option at their check-in point. Okay, so I just wanted to show a couple screenshots of what this looks like. The whole process of getting pre-verified through Civic generally takes under 3 minutes. So you install the app, gives you a couple of short directions here. You can get it from both the Apple Store or Google Play. You actually use your biometric to log on to the app, so your customers don't even need to remember a password and login information. It's very stress-free. And then they would click that they're ready. And next slide, please. This would give the visitor the option to designate what kind of identity documentation they're providing. So this would be for an identity check-in. You can do a basic that's just verifying email and biometric to log on to the cell phone. But in this case, they could select either passport, national ID, or driver's license, and then scan the actual piece of documentation there. So once they've been validated, when they come on site, that's a picture of the kiosk iPad that they would face at check-in. They would select the green Use My Civic app button. It would pull up a customized QR code that's associated with their visit. They would use their cell phone to scan that QR code, which is going to be verifying that the data in their mobile wallet is correct and they are who they say they are. And then at that point, they're able to finish out like a standard visitor management check-in process, and it would alert the host that they're coming on site. So this, again, is our newest offering. It's hot off the presses. We're starting to get a lot of buzz from different customers, wanting to have presentations with their sales group to learn more about that. This is a subscription model, so it is based on transactions per site. So think of it a lot like a utility bill. You have 200 visitors per month at a certain site, you will have a transaction rate for those 200 visits and then be billed accordingly. So I'm going to pause there, Carol, and see if we have any additional questions on Civic.
There are a couple. Let me see here. Is there a plan to use C.CURE as a credential and to be able to present in a QR reader connected to an iStar?
So not related to Civic. That QR code is just what's passing the data from the mobile wallet to C.CURE, because we're not storing any information. That's only for the Civic application. But on our roadmap, we do have it coming in 2.9 barcode and QR code support.
How can you prove that the ID is a valid official ID?
So I didn't get into all of the ins and outs of this. We do have the Civic presentation link that we can share. It was also in the marketing bulletin this past month. But basically, after they would scan their ID, there's then a process where they have to do a little moving video of their face, and then through blockchain and a live person is validating that the person is who they say they are on the ID. So there's an extra step there that I didn't get into all the details, but it is a quick verification process. And then once that information's stored in your mobile wallet, the great thing is that if you ever check in at another Civic site, you already have done the process. You use that same validation as long as you have the same cell phone. Or if you're a returning contract worker or visitor that frequents a site, you don't have to go through this again.
Will this solution be available for other regions?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, you know, we're the first to the market with this. So we are doing a phased launch approach. I know there's a lot of movement on both the EMEA and Latin America fronts to have this moving forward. I'm anticipating that we will in the next 6 months launch this globally.
Which ID type and country does it accept?
So Civic supports over 200 different country IDs. There is, I believe in our FAQs, Carol, we actually provided a link to the document that lists those all out.
Yes, and I can actually send that along when I'm sending around the PowerPoint.
Sure. Yep, that's a great question, though.
Can this be used with an SDK? Develop an app using the Civic app?
Not
worth looking at, I
that
guess.
might be more of somebody working with Civic, I would think. It's not built out in our SDK.
Okay. And that is it for questions.
Okay, that's great.
Okay, yeah, this is just a recap of the 4 different apps we talked about, right? Again, based on use case, you know, what the different needs are of each type of operator, guard, cardholder, visitor. So I guess, yeah, we can pause again. Any other questions? Yeah, I do encourage you to, you know, give these a try. You know, they're great ways to extend C.CURE and, you know, make it even more valuable for your customers.
Carol, were there any others from the first section that we want to take now, where we have a couple extra minutes?
Let me see. Let's see here.
Pick out some easy ones.
Do you have a demo system that could be logged into via the app to show to prospective clients? This is regarding C.CURE Go, I believe.
The mobile app.
Yes.
Yeah, we do have a system that our sales team uses now and then, although I have to admit that it's more of an engineering test system, and the cardholder data doesn't look very real. It's like card 000243 and all that. That's something we should do. You know, we need to relaunch this with a nice, you know, online, you know, demo system there. So get that one open.
Can you allow for automatic login through Face ID, Touch ID, or any biometrics on phones and tablets? And this is for C.CURE Go. Oh, I'm sorry, C.CURE Go Reader.
Well, in either one, the answer is no, not right now. Oh yeah, we need to look at that for future development, you know, to incorporate the, you know, the more recent authentication methods from the devices.
This one's regarding C.CURE Go Reader. Can this be used with Bluetooth readers as read in, read out for a muster, or who's in, who's out for visiting vendors to a customer site?
Yeah, for the mustering, you know, that is one of the main features of Go Reader. You know, you basically define what areas are considered inside, okay, and then as people, you know, swipe at the Go Reader, they're moved from that area into, you know, the muster area, and then you can pull up a list of who is still supposedly, you know, left in the building, okay, along, you know, the printout, and, you know, you can give that to the first responders and have them, you know, check them off. But yeah, I guess you can use that for visitors as well. could log in visitors, and they'd be logged in the journal, and you can call up a report of, the current visitors for the day. They would assume that the visitors got, working credentials and are marked as a visitor in C.CURE, and it would work fine then.
Is Verint video integration available with C.CURE Go?
Video integration. Well, again, we have the video features for Video Edge without any other vendors. Exact is on the roadmap. At this point, there's no third-party video able to stream in. We could take a look at that for future enhancements as well.
Let's see. Can C.CURE Go Reader integrate with Milestone?
No. Well, C.CURE Go Reader is not really a video thing. I think they probably meant C.CURE Go, because that had
Maybe it's C.CURE Go.
But again, no, it's basically just Video Edge right now. I believe one of the issues is that every video vendor has a different way to stream video to a mobile device. So it would take a lot of effort, but we might want to open up C.CURE Go with sort of like a mini SDK if these guys do the work themselves and plug it in. For Video Edge, what's nice is, we use the transcoding feature of Video Edge. So the Video Edge MVR knows it's streaming to this small little device. So it reduces the bandwidth, and if it's over a wireless that's not too good, it'll even further reduce it. So it's a nice automatic variation on your bandwidth based on a lot of different criteria. Other systems might not have that, might not get as good a performance, but good point though. We should, take a look.
I think we should take one more question because we're almost at the top of the hour. This is regarding C.CURE Go. Can you block recorded video from certain users?
Yeah, that'd be done on the operator record in C.CURE. You'd have to make sure they couldn't view video in that record. I'm just thinking out loud. I mean, there might be an issue because if you do block it at C.CURE, then he or she couldn't view it through the admin station either, right? There's no separation of what they can do, whether they're on this device or that device. So no, good question. Okay. It looks like it is exactly 2 o'clock Eastern time. So looks like we didn't go over. That's great. We really do appreciate all the interest and the questions here. It's been a great session. Carol, you're going to follow up and get stuff.
Yeah. So today I will be, downloading the video, the recorded video. So I'll be sending out an email probably tomorrow morning with the PowerPoint presentation along with the video, and I can also, like Ashley mentioned before, the FAQs for the Civic app. I'm also going to be downloading all the questions from today, and the product management team will help to answer those and put it into a nice FAQs document that I can send out probably next week sometime. So we all appreciate you joining this webinar today and hope that you and your families all stay safe and well during this difficult time. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.